from Dutch Touch Interiors joining you again today. Today I wanted to share with you 3 elements to look for when you're hiring a designer. The first element to look for is experience. This one sort of goes without saying. You want to make sure that your designer can help you with a project that you have. So some key things to look for: have they done work similar to what you're looking for? If you're wanting to do a full kitchen renovation, have they done projects that are similar? It doesn't have to be a full kitchen. Perhaps they've done other projects that require millwork. Will they be able to help you out? Second thing to look for under experience is how long have they been practicing interior design or design of any scope. Length of time practicing does not necessarily mean that they're a great designer, but as we all know, the longer that we've done things, the more often that you're going to have learned from things on the job. So a few years under their belt may be all that you need to find a really great designer. Something else that a lot of clients may not consider is past employment that your designer may have had. So for example, I've worked a few jobs when I was launching my career that gave me some really valuable knowledge that I wouldn't have gained anywhere else. So it may not always be job experience in the sense of the design projects that they've done. It may actually be employment that they've done previously. The second element that you want to look at when you're deciding whether or not to hire a designer is their knowledge base. So has that designer had formal training? Have they gone to university or to college? Maybe they've done post-secondary education in the form of continuing education. Or have they done specialized training, maybe around color or lighting or furniture or millwork? There's all variety of training that designers can take. So just ask what they've done, how they've learned. Last thing under knowledge is whether or not the designer is bilingual. What do I mean by that? I don't mean can they speak French and English or Spanish, what have you. What I mean is within design and contractors, we have a specific language that we use within the industry. Can your designer break that down for you? And when they break it down for you, do they do it in a way that makes you feel like you're included as part of the project and not like you don't know what you're talking about? That is key, and a lot of clients that I have find that very frustrating. They've worked with designers in the past and they just talk down to them. So ask your designer ahead of time if that's something that they're able to do and if they're comfortable in doing it. Do you want to be included in the process or not? So the third key element that we're looking for when you're hiring a designer is their compatibility. Are they compatible with who you are? So just like when you meet a person for the first time and you know just like this that they're going to be your next best friend, that's kind of what you're looking for when you're looking for a designer. But you don't have to become your best friend. You don't have to necessarily agree on all points. But as your designer is going to become your advocate and pulling all of your style requests together, you do want to make sure that you are compatible as people. Obviously, when it comes to design, a lot of people think about the style compatibility. If you're looking at a designer who is super traditional or has a very modern aesthetic and you like something more transitional, a little bit more eclectic, then obviously style-wise you're not going to mix. But more importantly, will you mix as people? The last thing that I want to make sure that I touch on within compatibility is, are you comfortable asking questions of your designer? This is really important. When your house starts coming apart and you have questions going on, whether it's you see something on site and you're thinking, oh, that's not what I thought it was going to be. Are you comfortable approaching your designer and saying, hey, I see this is going on here, what's happening, can you fill me in? You want to make sure that your designer feels approachable to you so that way you keep those lines of communication open and you have a much more successful renovation. So when it comes to hiring an interior designer, there are obviously way more elements that you could look at, but those are the 3 core elements that I believe must be in place in order for you to have a successful relationship with your designer. Not just experience, not just knowledge, not just compatibility. Kind of needs to be a good mix of all 3. And that does mean that maybe they have less knowledge or less experience, but they're highly compatible with you. That can be a match made in heaven. I want to give you a few extra tips for success. This is just general tips when it comes to renovations, working with professionals in general. So first of all, be very clear about your expectations. Something that I see clients get frustrated with often is that they haven't laid out their expectations and then they don't understand why the contractor or the designer isn't delivering what they wanted. Secondly, ask for a written agreement about communication. So be clear with your designer, with your renovation team, how you want to be communicated. Is it by email? Is it by text? Is it by phone? How do you want the communication to come in? How often do you want the communication to come in? And if you ask for it written down and signed by both you and your renovation team at the beginning, there's no chance or very little chance that that's going to get missed. And lastly, all designers will tell you this, be honest about your budget. We have worked with budgets from $5,000 for a small room to $200,000 and up. I mean, the sky's the limit when it comes to budget, but the sky may not be the limit when it comes to your budget. But if you don't make that clear with your designer or your renovation team at the beginning, you are setting yourself up to fail from the beginning. Be clear about what your expectations are, but also be clear about the dollars. So when it comes to budget, does the budget that you've given a designer include the designer's fees? If it doesn't, what have you budgeted for the designer fees? Make sure you're clear about that. Most designers will do their best to stay at or below budget for you. There you have it. Now you have the 3 core elements to look for when you're hiring a designer, plus a few great tips when you actually start moving forward in your renovation project. I hope that this video helps set you up for success so that you can create a home that you love coming home to. At the end of the day, that's what's important. If you liked this video and you found it useful, I would so appreciate if you clicked like on the bottom, and please pass it along to friends and family that you think may find this useful as well. My goal is to make sure that you have a successful renovation, and as much as I can do that, I would appreciate your help shouting it out as well. If you want to follow us further, check us out on Facebook, Pinterest, and Instagram. I'll add the links here afterwards. Most importantly, have fun creating a home that you love. And always remember this key detail. The only trend that you need to follow is your own, because who you are never goes out of style. Thank you so much for watching, and I look forward to seeing you next time on Dutch Touch Interiors.